As the sun dipped lower in the sky, the village of elders would transformed into a painting of vibrant colors. Hues of orange and pink danced across the horizon, casting a warm glow over the cobblestone paths and thatched-roof cottages. The air was still, almost holding its breath in anticipation. This peaceful scene belied the tension brewing beneath the surface, for tonight marked a long-anticipated event, the duel that would determine the fate of two honorable men. Villagers buzzed with excitement as whispers echoed through the streets. News of the duel had traveled far beyond Elderswood, drawing curious spectators from nearby towns. They came not only for the thrill of the fight but to witness a clash of ideals. Honor against revenge. Children scampered about, their laughter mingling with anxious murmurs of adults discussing who would emerge victorious. In the town square, townsfolk gathered around a designated spot where the duel would take place. Lanterns flickered to life, casting long shadows on eager faces. As dusk settled in, a sense of calm blanketed the village, unaware that soon it would witness a confrontation that could change everything. The stage was set. Both dueling hearts were ready to collide at sunset. In the heart of the crowd, two figures stood apart, embodying the very clash of ideals that had drawn so many to Elderswood. The first, Sir Cedric, was a knight of noble blood, known far and wide for his unwavering commitment to honor. With his polished armor reflecting the fading light, he had dedicated his life to protecting the innocent and upholding justice. Yet beneath his brave exterior lay a heart heavy with grief. A beloved brother had fallen victim to a cruel act, leaving Cedric with a burning desire to ensure such violence would never go unpunished. Opposite him stood Lucian, a man consumed by the flames of vengeance. Once a close friend of Cedric's, Lucian had turned bitter after suffering a personal tragedy that shattered his world. Clad in darker attire, he wielded his weapon not just as a tool for battle but as an embodiment of his pain. To him, honor felt like a distant memory overshadowed by betrayal and loss. He believed that justice lay not in mercy but in retribution. As twilight deepened around them, these two men prepared to confront their intertwined fates, one seeking redemption through honor and the other yearning for closure through revenge. The tension between Sir Cedric and Lucian did not arise overnight. It was the culmination of a series of tragic events that had unfolded over the years. It all began with the untimely death of Cedric's younger brother during a skirmish against marauders. Lucian, who had once fought alongside Cedric, was present that day but failed to protect him. The guilt consumed him, and as whispers of blame spread through the village, friendship turned to enmity. Months later, in a moment fueled by anger and grief, Lucian publicly accused Cedric of failing to safeguard his brother's life. The accusations stung deeply. Cedric believed that Lucian's pain had twisted his mind, while Lucian saw Cedric's honor as a mask for failure. Their disagreements escalated from heated arguments to dangerous encounters in the tavern, each encounter leaving scars on their once strong bond. One fateful evening, after another clash filled with harsh words and pointed fingers, Lucian issued the challenge. A duel at sunset to settle their grievances once and for all. Cedric accepted without hesitation, driven by a need to restore his honor and prove that justice would prevail. As they prepared for this inevitable confrontation, both men steeled themselves for what lay ahead, each believing they were the true hero in their own story. As the villagers gathered in the town square, the atmosphere buzzed with anticipation and differing opinions. Some stood firmly in support of Sir Cedric, believing that his commitment to honor would restore peace to Elderswood. They admired his bravery and spoke of the noble qualities he embodied. "He fights for justice," one villager exclaimed, nodding vigorously, while others echoed similar sentiments, calling for honor to triumph over vengeance. On the other side, Lucian's supporters cheered passionately, seeing him as a misunderstood hero seeking revenge for a deep betrayal. They believed that his pain justified the duel, and many whispered about the injustices he had faced. "Cedric is just a coward hiding behind his title," shouted a voice from the crowd, igniting fervor among those who felt Lucian had been wronged. As the crowd swelled, tensions rose between the two groups. Friends and family members exchanged glances filled with concern, knowing that this confrontation was more than just a duel. It represented a fracture within their community. With every shout and cheer, the line between honor and revenge grew clearer, yet more blurred in the hearts of those who had come to witness fate unfold at sunset. As the moment of truth approached, both Sir Cedric and Lucian steeled themselves for the duel. Cedric stood in silence, his polished armor glinting in the fading light, but inside, a storm of emotions raged. He felt the weight of the village's expectations on his shoulders. What if I fail? He wondered, his heart racing at the thought of not only losing the duel but also disappointing everyone who believed in him. He took a deep breath, recalling his brother's face and reminding himself that he fought for more than just his honor. He fought to protect the ideals they both valued. Across the square, Lucian paced back and forth, gripping his weapon tightly. The anger that fueled him was a double-edged sword. He knew that seeking vengeance could easily consume him entirely. As he prepared to face Cedric, doubts crept in. Is this truly justice? He questioned. Lucian's mind raced with images of their past friendship and what it had become. Bitterness taking root where laughter once thrived. He swallowed hard, pushing those thoughts down. This fight was not just about revenge. It was about reclaiming a sense of control over his fractured life. With every heartbeat that echoed in their chests, both men grappled with their motivations as they readied for an inevitable clash under the darkening sky. As the final rays of sunlight painted the sky in hues of crimson and gold, Sir Cedric and Lucian stepped into the clearing, swords drawn and hearts pounding. The crowd fell silent, their anticipation palpable as they strained to witness this clash of wills. The golden light flickered off Cedric's polished blade, a symbol of his unwavering commitment to honor. In contrast, Lucian's weapon appeared darker, reflecting the turmoil within him, an embodiment of his quest for revenge. The air crackled with tension as the two men circled each other, eyes locked in a fierce gaze that spoke volumes. Murmurs rippled through the spectators, each person holding their breath, caught between hope and dread. They could feel the weight of history pressing down upon them. This duel was not merely about victory, but about ideals that had divided them for too long. With each step they took, memories echoed in their minds. Laughter shared during happier days now overshadowed by betrayal and grief. At that moment it was clear. Neither man would back down. As they raised their swords high, a collective gasp spread through the crowd. In the fading light of sunset, fate was about to unfold in a way that none could foresee. As the duel began, steel clashed against steel, echoing through the clearing like thunder. Sir Cedric moved with grace, his defensive stance reflecting his commitment to honor. I fight not just for myself, Lucian, but for the memory of my brother and the ideals we once shared, he called out, parrying Lucian's aggressive strikes with precision. Each block was a reminder of his duty to protect the innocent and uphold justice. Lucian's strikes were fierce and relentless, fueled by the bitterness that had taken root in his heart. You talk of honor, but what good is it? He shouted, his voice laced with anger. Your so-called justice failed us both. You stood idly by while I lost everything. With each swing of his sword, he sought not only victory but also to reclaim the sense of control he felt had been stripped away. Cedric countered with calm determination, sidestepping Lucian's wild attacks. This isn't about revenge, Lucian. It's about finding peace, he replied, trying to reach his former friend amidst the storm of conflict. The crowd watched in awe, feeling the weight of their words as each strike revealed the deeper motivations driving their fight. One seeking redemption and the other, closure through vengeance. In a brief moment of reprieve, as they stepped back to catch their breath, memories flooded both men's minds. For Sir Cedric, a flashback of his brother's laughter echoed in his heart. They had spent endless afternoons training together under the sun, the promise of a bright future gleaming in their eyes. You'll always be my protector, his brother had said, belief shining through his innocence. That memory reignited Cedric's determination. He was fighting to honor that bond and preserve the ideals they had cherished together. Across the clearing, Lucian's thoughts turned darker as he recalled the day everything changed. He remembered the frantic chaos as his friend's brother fell, and the weight of guilt that came crashing down on him. If only I had been faster, he thought bitterly. Each failed attempt to save Cedric's brother echoed like a haunting refrain in his mind, pushing him deeper into despair. "This is for you," Lucian murmured under his breath, more resolved than ever to avenge his past failures. As they resumed fighting, both men carried the weight of their histories, their motivations intertwining with every clash of swords. In that moment, they were not merely duelists. They were two souls grappling with love, loss, and the choices that had led them to this fateful encounter. In a swift exchange of blows, Lucian found himself gaining the upper hand, his sword inching closer to Cedric's throat. The crowd gasped, sensing an imminent end to the duel. But as he pressed forward, a flicker of doubt crept into Lucian's mind. He paused, remembering the warm laughter of their younger days, the moments shared under the sun, and the bond that once united them as brothers in arms. "What am I doing?" he thought, feeling a twinge of hesitation. Cedric noticed the falter in Lucian's attack and seized the moment to counter with a defensive maneuver. "I don't want this, Lucian," he shouted, his voice filled with desperation. "This isn't who we are. We are better than this fight." Each word hung heavy in the air, urging Lucian to reconsider his path. In that critical moment, Lucian's heart wavered between revenge and redemption. He could see Cedric's earnest eyes searching for understanding, and for a heartbeat, the intensity of their shared past pushed through his anger. Could I ever forgive myself? He wondered. The weight of their histories pressed upon him as the duel became more than just a fight. It turned into a chance for healing or further destruction. With the world around them holding its breath, Lucian stood at a crossroads, faced with a choice that would define not only this moment but their lives moving forward. As the duel reached its climax, Lucian made a fateful decision. Lowering his sword, he took a step back, the weight of his past settling on his shoulders. "I can't do this anymore," he admitted, voice trembling. Cedric, surprised but resolute, seized the moment. He lowered his weapon as well and said softly, "Neither can I. We've lost too much already." With the crowd watching in stunned silence, Lucian's eyes sparkled with unshed tears. "I wanted to avenge your brother, but instead, I see that I'm only continuing the cycle of pain." The anger that had fueled him began to fade, replaced by a sense of clarity. Cedric stepped forward, extending his hand. "Let's honor his memory together, not through vengeance, but through understanding." In that defining moment, they realized that true strength lay in forgiveness and healing rather than an unending quest for revenge. The villagers erupted into whispered conversations, witnessing a transformation unfolding before their eyes. A lesson learned about the power of choice and the strength found in unity. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a gentle light over the two duelists, they stood not as enemies, but as men ready to reconcile their pasts, ready to forge a new path forward together. As the sun dipped below the horizon, a profound silence enveloped the village of Elderswood. The spectators, who had come to witness a duel marked by anger and vengeance, now stood in awe of the unexpected resolution between Cedric and Lucian. Whispers spread through the crowd as villagers began to process the significance of what they had just witnessed. A powerful moment of forgiveness rather than bloodshed. Slowly, people began to approach the two men, their faces reflecting a mixture of relief and admiration. Friends who had taken sides during the conflict now found common ground, united by their desire for healing. Some villagers expressed regret for having fueled the rivalry with harsh words and judgments. "We should have seen this coming," one elder remarked, shaking his head. "Pain can blind us to the truth." Cedric and Lucian exchanged glances filled with unspoken understanding, realizing that their choice had not only altered their fates, but also ignited a spark of hope within the community. As they embraced, the crowd erupted into applause, celebrating not just the end of a duel, but the beginning of a journey toward unity and reconciliation. In that moment, Elderswood transformed. A village once divided was now poised to heal together, fostering relationships built on understanding rather than vengeance. The lessons learned from this duel would echo through generations to come. As the vibrant hues of sunset blended into the horizon, a calm descended over Elderswood, symbolizing a profound change within its community. Sir Cedric and Lucian stood side by side, no longer adversaries but allies embracing a shared purpose. They had learned that healing begins with forgiveness, and as they gazed at the setting sun, they felt a weight lifted from their hearts. For Cedric, the duel had reaffirmed his belief in honor and justice, but he now understood that true strength lay in unity. He envisioned a future where he could protect not only his own ideals but also foster reconciliation among others in the village. This moment had taught him that hope could rise from the ashes of pain. Lucian, too, found solace in this change. No longer defined by his past mistakes or driven solely by revenge, he felt renewed purpose to build connections rather than walls. With every sunset that followed, he would remember this day, not just as the end of a rivalry, but as the dawn of new possibilities. Together, they turned to face their friends and neighbors as a wave of applause erupted around them. Elderswood was forever transformed, its people now committed to embracing understanding over conflict as they moved forward under the calming embrace of twilight.